Explore more of the world, engage with others and embrace global cultures. Entdecke die Welt, verbinde dich mit anderen und sei offen für globale culturen.
Explorează lumea, conectează-te cu oamenii din jurul tău și lasă-te inspirat de diversitatea culturilor.
Amazing. All right, hello and welcome to Today's Explorers. I'm your host, Charles. Today's Explorers is a series dedicated to sharing the inspiring stories and varying perspectives of those who have chosen to seek out life-changing adventure. On the line now, I have Christian and Andreea. Hi, Christian and Andreea.
Hi, Charles.
Where in the world are you calling in from?
Baja, Mexico.
Oh, wonderful. What can you smell, see?
Well, we can smell the sea and the sea pelicans and manta rays, so we are very lucky.
Yeah, and we see you, which is a new perspective for today.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Are there many people around, or is it just you on the beach?
Just us and Nacho.
Just us and Nacho. But yesterday, this is a public beach. So yesterday it was Sunday. And for the Mexican, this is a special day. And the complete beach was covered with people.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was a very nice experience to see that.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Great. Well, let's jump straight in. Maybe you could share a bit about your backgrounds for each of you, how you met, and then also like what led you to your exploration.
So we met on Instagram, actually. Yeah, I was born in Romania, and I moved to Germany when I was 19. And Christian is from Switzerland, and in 2016 we met on Instagram. We were doing landscape photography, and we had no pictures of each other on Instagram, just landscape. Then I posted a picture of myself, and Christian wrote me and asked me if I'm the person on the picture, and this is how it started. And
Wow.
2 years later, I moved to Switzerland, and last year we decided to travel the world.
Wow.
And we also married 7 years ago. And yeah, so 2 years after we met on Instagram, we married each other.
Okay.
And yeah, my background is, so I grew up in Switzerland, studied as a mechanical engineer, and I had several jobs. And I had also a decade which I was completely focused on motorsport, like race car driving on a circuit.
Okay.
This teach me also a lot about dedication to something, which is something good to know. If you have to focus on just one thing that you
Yeah. Yeah, that leads me to my next question, which is, do you have any special skills that you use on your exploration? I guess, as you mentioned, dedication as one.
Dedication is 100% one, and also to find always new solutions for problems that are occurring. When you're at home, everything works just fine, and when you're on the road, you find completely new problems that you're not aware before. And this is something that I have from before, because you have to find a solution. There is no turning back or turning away from the problems. There is just find a solution and go forward.
Yeah, that's amazing. How about you, Andreea? Any special skills that you bring?
Well, I can keep us well fed for like 2 weeks, even though, the next tour is like miles, 100 miles away. So I do the prep, for the meals and, to keep us healthy on the road. I cherish, I like for us, even though we live in the car, to eat very healthy, to eat greens and vegetables and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of planning, actually, because as you can imagine, you don't have a lot of space in a Defender. So to keep us well fed for 2 weeks, you need to plan very, very good.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, and also like medical, I'm a bit, I like to read a lot about medicine. So if something happens, I'm like, okay, well, maybe we should take this or we should do that. So yeah, also having a dog, you have to be prepared for everything because everything can happen. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So where have you explored so far? That can include also before this trip that you're on.
So we did Iceland. We did our honeymoon in Iceland, and actually Iceland was the beginning of this. So in Iceland we rented a car, and we had Airbnbs around the island. So we stayed at an Airbnb like for 3-4 days, and then we used to do like day trips.
Okay.
And at some point it got a bit tiring because you always have to unpack the car, take everything inside, do on the day trips, you come back home, you eat, and then next day again, and then you load back the car. And we were like, it would be nice to have something where you just drive and don't come back. So we started to see a lot of Defenders on the way. And you imagine Landscape Iceland Defenders. We fell in love immediately. So by the time we were on the airplane back home to Switzerland after 4 weeks, we already had a decision made to buy a Defender and to convert it into our.
Wow.
Yeah. So 2 weeks later, we actually found Willie and we bought it. And he was like, without anything, like original inside with 9 seats and everything original. So Christian did all his charm on the car.
It's amazing.
There is a funny story about from before. In 2017, we rented an RV, like a classic European RV, like these white boxes. And we drove around in France and Italy. And we had this idea, driving through some landscape, just park somewhere and stay there. But the end of the story was, it was so annoying because you cannot just stay somewhere. You cannot just park everywhere because this thing was so big and we have so much restrictions in Europe. This was 2 weeks of horrible
catastrophe.
It was not funny. So we decided, though, we never again we rent an RV or we buy an RV.
Yeah.
And this is why we have a Defender, and we are happy about the size of this car, because it's just like a normal car at the end, but we have everything with us.
Yeah, and we already took Willie to Sweden, Norway, Finland, Scotland, UK, Denmark. So we've been Italy, Austria. So we traveled quite a lot in Europe before we decided to.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's been when did you start the trip first, I guess?
So our trips first, which I mentioned before, were like just normal vacations, 2 to 3 weeks a year. Yeah, so it was like just normal. But we always had that feeling, so you start your vacation and then 2 weeks after, already, we have to go back and we have to go back to work. So you always have this end date in the back of your head and you can't enjoy it. And sometimes we were like, it would be nice to just go and don't have a return back.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, that's not possible, And then we met a couple from Brazil who are traveling since 9 years already in a Defender. We met them in Norway. And we started talking to them and we were like, okay, maybe we should reconsider, like maybe today or, in the near future is the chance to do it. So, yeah, last year in May, we gave up everything we had in Switzerland. We sold whatever we didn't need anymore and we shipped the car to Halifax.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long of period was that from when you met that couple to when you shipped?
The fact is, when we shipped, it was only maybe 7 months, because in August 23 we met these two.
Okay.
And they're from Brazil. You said it already. Proyecto Mundo Cow is their name. Maybe you know them from
Instagram.
Instagram. I think so.
Sergio and Eleni. The funny thing, we had a lot of conversations also about how you budget something like this, or I mean, at the end, this conversation opened our mind to don't say, I have to be at home all the time, because normal, you have your job, you have your structure and everything. No, you have to go to work. No, you have to do this. You have to do this. But this conversation opened up our mind or the perspective to know why not. I mean, and why not now?
Yeah.
Because you always think, maybe someday I'm gonna do this, and I wait a little longer, but this opened the conversation. And so on the way back, we decided that we are gonna calculate everything. We're gonna go deeper into this idea of doing full-time travel. And then 7 months later we went away.
So we quit our jobs in November. And then in May we gave up everything. So it was pretty fast.
Wow. And in that time also you were building the vehicle?
No, we started before. I mean, the build of the vehicle started in 21 after Iceland.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then you used it for those trips.
Yeah, we used it for those trips in Scotland and Norway. And then on these trips, you learn also, okay, we need another water solution, or we need another solution for the stove, or this doesn't work out how we like it. So we change this and that. And in these 6 months, we changed also a lot on the vehicle again to do this, what we're doing now.
That's amazing. So you kind of had a test run of how to live on the road. Would you recommend that to other people to have test runs before, or?
And I think the most important part is, because I mean, you look at YouTube, you look at Instagram, and all these guys, they're traveling. I mean, you know them, Next Meridian, all, and this looks very charming or very nice. Everything is nice, but it's not the reality. I mean, at the end, you live in this car. You have to take care that you have water. You have to take care that you have propane, and it's everything a bit different from the perspective when you're living this life. And it's not always charming, especially, for example, when you are sick. You cannot just go back in your bed in your sleeping room, and it's everything is a bit different, and you have to be aware of that life.
Yeah, I think you need to give it a try first before you just dive in, because people expect like walks on the beach and perfect sunsets, and everything is lovely and it never rains, and you don't have mud and you don't have sand and you don't have it's just perfect. But that's not it. I mean,
Yeah.
we are not complaining, don't get us wrong. We are living our dream, but it's not always that what you see on Instagram.
Yeah. That makes
And
a
I
lot of
think
sense.
people need to realize that too, that it's not just sunshine and rainbows. You have the mud and the dirt and everything.
And the wind can be very annoying sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah.
just do small trips and expand them by each time you do them, and then you get the feeling of if this is that what you want, or
Yeah.
Was there I have lots of other little questions now because of that, but did you find that when you packed certain things that on your little trips you did, you were like, oh, maybe we don't actually need these items, so I guess you switched out for different items? Yeah.
we also gave away some stuff now on when we're traveling. For example, when we see, okay, we don't need an additional mattress, for example, for our emergency bed here, we give away because we never used it, or stuff like this. If you feel, okay, I never used it since 6 months,
Why keep it?
why keep it? So we give it away. We give it to somebody we met. Maybe they can use it. Or also we send back home some clothes, or we give to a donation.
Yeah, to the homeless people.
Homeless people, we gave some clothes that we got from some other companies. I mean, we get this stuff and we give it away to somebody else who can use it.
Could use it
that's
more
great.
than we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. You mentioned some of the countries you've visited so far, but maybe you could give me a list of what all the different places you've explored up until now.
You mean on this trip or in general?
In general. So those beginning trips, what are all the countries you've explored?
The first trip was in Italy, in Tuscany. The vehicle was half completed. We didn't have drawers, but we had the kitchen. We had no electricity inside. Then France and UK. We drove up to Scotland. And also when we are traveling, we finish our vehicle on the road. I mean, we change some stuff. We go to the do-it-yourself shop. We buy some wood, change something. Also on the way back, we bought our roof rack that we have now with us in Scotland on the way back, and stuff like this. So every journey changes a little bit the vehicle too, because you learn something on the road. Yeah, you change something. Then after Scotland, it was
Dolomites.
The Dolomite. Actually, the Dolomites was the first trip that we did after 2 weeks when we bought the vehicle.
Oh, okay.
It was completely empty, and once we slept in the back of the car on the floor.
Between the seats, yeah.
Between the seats. This was funny. But after Scotland, what was the French island in?
Corsica.
Corsica. We went to Corsica. After that, Norway. I mean, we drove up Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland.
Mm-hmm.
This was one trip, 3 weeks, 10,000 kilometers.
Wow.
We went to the States. In New York. We went to Madeira. We did that catastrophic camping trip to Côte d'Azur. And Romania. Just like some small other weekend trips, to Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I was once in South Africa, but this was before time. This was almost 11 years ago now.
Okay.
But everything was without wheelie. So it was only just like the regular holidays that you do.
Yeah. But again, getting a taste and a flavor for travel and that adventure. That's great. Where are you hoping or getting excited about to explore next? What's the next countries on your list?
Well, I think Mexico mainland. We have to say that, and I think this is also a question which will come afterwards. Sometimes you hear some bad news about the country, like Romania, Mexico, like everybody we've told on the road down here, it didn't matter if it was Canada or the States, that we are going to Mexico and then all the way down to Argentina. Everybody said, oh my God, don't go to Mexico. You're going to die. Literally. Like everybody told us the same. You're going to get kidnapped. You're going to be robbed, all those bad things. And, you hear a lot of bad things and you're like, really? Is it that bad? And then we arrived in Baja and we stayed at this ranch. He's Mexican and she's from America couple. They opened a ranch for overlander like us. And we stayed there and we had a lot of conversation with them and they actually opened our eyes quite a lot about Mexico. And we have to say that we haven't experienced one bad thing here. Like people are so generous and so welcoming and so, they wave at us and they ask questions and wherever we go, people are really thrilled that we are here. And, like also at the beach, somebody asked us if we have salt and we gave them salt and they prepared a plate of food for us.
Oh, wow.
Like they didn't even know us, but they just gave us food, which they were cooking for their families. I have to say, I think Baja, it's different than mainland is going to be. So we are very, very thrilled to see the culture in Mexico mainland and to see the temples and, to go deeper into that culture because we've never been to Mexico before. But up until now, we are very, very amazed by how welcome the Mexican people are.
Amazing.
Yeah. I think Costa Rica.
Costa Rica is the next country. And also we have a little bit of a bad timing for the Central America countries because of the rainy season. And so we thought about going back to the States, but we decided not to because we just believe that the more southern countries, the more culture we see and the more it's just, you know what I mean? Just authentic or more that we explore there. So we don't go back. We just stay longer in Mexico and
that makes sense.
More of the country and feel also the country.
Have you with that, have you found your rhythm for your journey? Have you found your pace? Do you try to do things quickly? Maybe you did at the beginning and maybe you slowed down now, but
at the beginning we were very, very fast on the road, like really. We crossed to Canada like in the blink of an eye. We can't even remember where we were. Did we visit that? I don't know. So it was very, very fast. And I think in Canada we found our rhythm at some point, and we managed to calm down because finding a routine on the road is very hard. Especially when you have to drive every day, you have to search for a spot where you camp, you have to fill up water, gas, whatever, and everything takes a bit longer. And finding that routine is very, very hard. We found it in Canada, we lost it in the States, but we found it now, I think, in Baja.
Yeah, in the States, the time in the States was only 3 months. And so we were a little bit in a rush, kind of. And as soon as we crossed over to Mexico, we found like a calm way to travel because we could stay longer on one spot and we do travel really slow. And we filled up our diesel tank one time in February and we can do 1,000 kilometers. So we do travel really slow.
Yeah. Wow.
This is good for us. And the funny thing is we got also sick after 1 week in Mexico. I think maybe because we could relax, we could just enjoy the time. And now I think we found the balance again. And
that's good.
Hopefully stay like this, but you never know.
And of course you have Nacho, so he also brings a certain level of routine as well because he has to go for walks and all those things.
Exactly.
Yes, and he needs also his beauty sleeps.
Yeah.
We try to give him as much time to rest, because he doesn't sleep when we are on the road.
Right.
So when we drive, he cannot sleep because he has to pay attention that we drive according to the rules. So he's awake all the time. So now, for example, at this space, we've been here since last Thursday.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. There was also another place in Bahia Concepcion. We said, okay, we're going to stay for the night. And then we stayed there for almost 5 days.
Oh, wow.
It was just very calm and nice. And
whales were swimming by and dolphins. So, yeah.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Exactly, yeah.
Where would you recommend people visit based on where you've explored so far?
I would recommend the northern part of Canada because this is really beautiful, and especially for overlanders because you have so much possibilities to camp and it's legal to camp everywhere. I mean, not in private properties, but everywhere. And you have these rivers with fresh water. This is really a nice, you can do fires because you have wood everywhere. This is really nice. Then, of course, I mean, the States are nice, but as I said, I think the more southern the countries, the more interesting for people like us. Mexico Baja, what we know for now, it's really nice, but we think that maybe the mainland gives us even more in culture and experience.
That's great. So you're sitting in your vehicle. It's called Willie, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you could tell what year is it and what kind of modifications have you done to it?
It's a Land Rover Defender 110, the TD5 engine, the 5-cylinder. And it's from 2004. So it was the last year that they built the TD5. And we have the TD5 because it has not much electricity. We don't have ABS, we don't have power steering and all this stuff. We do have air conditioning, for example, but this is aftermarket. And we changed the roof for an alu-cab rooftop. Then we have a kitchen inside. We have about 100 liters of fresh water with us. We have even a toilet, like a compost toilet. We have a warm shower with a propane heater. We have a diesel heater to heat up the car if it's cold. We have an awning. We have a gas stove to cook. We have a lot of a fridge, of course. We have solar power. We have a lot of battery power. We have around 300 amp hours in lithium battery, which is a lot. So we have really everything that we need with us. But yeah, we did now a room tour that we're gonna post on YouTube in maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Cool. That'll be good to see how it all set up. What are the cans behind you?
My
Are they
spices.
cans? Spices.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
I like to cook, so I need spices.
Yeah. That's great. So talking about equipment and things, what are maybe 5 pieces of equipment that you always travel with that you'd have to keep?
I would say the most important thing is the toolbox. I mean, we have a Defender. We didn't have some bad stuff happening to the vehicle so far. You have to maintain the car all the time. You have to fix a bolt, or you have to do something all the time. So the toolbox is maybe the most important. Medivac, for example, if something happens. A shovel.
A shovel.
Very useful.
For daily use. Yeah.
What else?
You say?
Starlink.
Starlink, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I'm sure when you think back maybe 10 years, people were doing what we are doing now. They didn't have internet. Maybe they didn't have even electricity in the car this much as we have. So I'm sure the traveling around the world with a vehicle like this is way different than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to see the comparisons even when my parents went on their trip in 1977.
Yeah.
Like, no Instagram, no GPS. Yeah, adventure.
Yeah. And you don't have also these online mapping tools and all this stuff. I mean, it's so easy today to search something on a map, even with the satellite pictures and all this. This is just different, I think.
Yeah. Is it good different, or do you think it takes away anything?
Honestly, I would love to see how this was like 10 years ago or 20 years ago. But for us, it's a good different because we just, it is how it is, and love it. So I don't know if but I would love to experience this.
I think now for our journey, like we found this, the most amazing places where we camped in Canada, for example, based on Google Maps pictures, because we saw, okay, we take that road and there is a clearing over there and we can just live there. And it was absolutely amazing. Like would have never found that spot without the satellite. Yeah, it has pros and cons.
Great. Well, now we're going to, I call this the reflective section. What inspires you to explore?
I think it's just that we want to know more. This was also in Iceland. I mean, you see a hill or something, and you just want to look what's behind the hill. You see another hill, and then you want to look behind. And this was also in Norway. I mean, the first idea was to go to the Lofoten, and then we met the other couple, and then we said, okay, come, let's drive to the North Cap, and we did it. This is just something that you want. I want to go further to other places to see how also the people are, to talk with locals, to see how they live, or this is just very interesting because we know our life in Europe. It's maybe, how it is. I mean, everything is settled. How this works, how that works. But I would say here it's a bit different. and to experience how they live and to see more of that. And this opens also our own horizon and gives you a flexible mind.
Yeah, and I think for me, like, I think since I was a child, like I said, I was born in Romania, and I was 4 years old, and I already told my parents that I'm not going to live in that country. So I was like, since I was a kid, I was like, yeah, no, I want to see something else. I want to see the world. And I think the world is so big and there's so many things to explore. And I think it's such a pity, for people who don't have that thirst inside them, to what's next, what's different, to see, to embrace different cultures, to try new food, to try new experience, to talk to locals, to, like going to Canada and, seeing how the natives are living and, the challenges they face and things that we didn't knew before. I think it's such a pity if you don't get to see that. You just know, like Christian said, yeah, in Europe, everything is settled. You go to work, you come home, you pay your taxes, go to a restaurant, and yeah, at some point you're old and you die. And I think that's such a pity not to want to be thirsty for more, to see more and see other things.
Especially, I mean, if you have the privilege to do that, you need to use that to go and see places.
Also to go out of your own comfort zone.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's also a thing, because most people, I talk from my own experience, some people are like, yeah, no, I have my own four walls and I'm happy here. I don't need to see anything else. I think that's such a pity, I mean, even though they would have the opportunity, but they just don't want to because, they know that, and I don't speak the language there. Yeah, but you could learn it, like, I mean, we are learning now Spanish to be able to talk even more to locals. Is it easy? No, it's a different language, but we are still trying, and we go and talk to locals and we ask for directions. So, in a grocery store, I ask how I cook this and how I do this. And yeah, I think this is, this makes it worth it. So
yeah. That kind of leads me on to the next question, which is how do you engage with other people? And that can be for other travelers, but also locals. How do you go about?
I mean, that's pretty simple because you just meet somebody somewhere, and I mean, this is maybe easier with the Defender than with other vehicles. I don't know, but because people are always coming to you and ask, what are you doing? Where is this plate from? The license plate from the car, and then you get in this conversation, and then this is something that happens automatically. You don't have to search for this. It's just happening. Or somebody gives you a smile on the road and then they wave at you and then you stop somewhere to talk with them. Also, if it's in a shop or something, I mean, Andreea goes always shopping.
grocery shopping, yeah.
I stay in the car, do some work or YouTube videos or whatever. And then I would say 90% of the cases she comes out and I'm talking to somebody on the parking lot because I met somebody there and we get in contact and this happens automatically. I mean, even if it is with locals or with other travelers, because we are very interested. What are they doing? How they are doing it, and why? And this is very interesting for us to learn also about how, because not everybody travels the same or has the same reason or has the same background. This is maybe something also interesting about the finances. How do you handle your finances on the road and stuff like this? Because that's a very important topic. Do this, otherwise you cannot do it in the long term. And yeah.
We also get like messages on Instagram like, hey, I just drove past you. Welcome to La Paz. And, and we are like, well, you should have said hi. And like, well, maybe I will see you again, So we get kinds of requests also on Instagram or, like a few days ago, we were in Todos Santos and we were eating tacos. And then 4 people just came to us and they were like, oh my God, we follow you on YouTube. And we were like, really?
Yeah, this was funny.
Because we're not that big on YouTube, and then some people recognize us from YouTube, and they were like, yeah, we saw the car, where's Nacho? And we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's so amazing.
So, yeah, it's really nice. And also when we go into like the small villages here in Baja, the locals are always asking us where we are from and where are we traveling, and we try to speak to them. And yeah, so it's always, sometimes we are like, oh my God, we met today so many people. It's like really, or here yesterday, I mean, we were eating and people were like passing by and they were like, oh, enjoy your meal and where are you from? We're like, well, so it's, we always meet people, yeah.
Yeah. Great. Why do you think it's important that we embrace global cultures?
Because like I said, like me, for example, if I tell people I'm from Romania, People always assume that I'm either gypsy or thieves or, Dracula. I mean, Dracula is a very... And that's all the people know about Romania, those three things. And I think if you would try to understand more about the culture, in Romania, about the people, we are not thieves and we are not gypsies. I mean, and I think people, like I said, they hear something and they connect that country to that certain thing, like Mexico. Everybody's, I don't know, a cartel member, or, everybody's into drugs. And I think if you go deeper and you actually embrace the culture, you are going to notice that the media or the news we get about that country is actually not the reality. And I think that's a pity if you just say, "Ugh, I don't want to go to Romania because, the people are going to rob me." Well, Romanians are actually pretty nice. I mean, they are very welcoming. Christian, when we go to Romania, Christian, he's being offered everything they have, because he is a very honorable guest in their home. People are very welcoming, and it's the same in Mexico. And I think it's very pity if we just, label something as dangerous and you don't look behind the picture. So that for me is that.
Yeah, I would say most people, also we, or I cannot say we, because I was also stuck with my own culture. Everything is like in Switzerland, everything is perfect, everything works how it should, and this is just different. And you get so much more out of your life when you see how others are, or how other cultures work, or how they handle their lives. Or some people are just closed to the environment, or you know what I mean, like they are,
Yeah.
or they close each other, not open-minded. But it's so interesting to see other cultures. And I mean, yesterday we learned that Mexicans are working 6 days per week. We didn't know that before. It's just something very small, but this changes also the perspective, how they work. And this is interesting to understand different cultures and see how they do their living and all this stuff. And as I said, most people are not open-minded, and they have just their own idea in their head. But that's not good.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you realize that all these people are humans as well. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
so we're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all the same at the end.
What are your goals when you go to explore?
To see nice places and to meet people. And this is maybe why we are searching more contact with the locals than with other travelers. Because let's say we meet some German friends somewhere. I mean, we lived beside the Germans. Switzerland and Germany has borders, so but we know more or less how they are. I don't have to go to the other end of the world to meet neighbors from before. So I want to know how the Mexicans are. So I want to meet locals, and this is very important for us. We said this also when we left Switzerland. We want to be more with locals, or meet local travelers, like travelers from Mexico, and this is very important because...
And we also try to learn a bit, when we go like to small villages, to learn about the history, when were they built, why did those villages or towns appeared. We went to Todos Santos, and we found out that it was actually a very big point in the cane sugar production in the 19th century. So, finding things like that, I think it's very interesting to see how the world actually was built and, what makes it like it is now. We try to always discover new things about the places that we go. If it's now the natives, Americans, in Canada or America, or now going to mainland Mexico. So we try to learn that. And yeah, as Christian said, talk to locals and, meet the people from here, because they live here and they have their own traditions. Like in Mexico, they have Los Dias de los Muertos, and we could still see some paintings on the walls from that, celebration. And for me personally, that's very interesting to see how different cultures actually celebrate the Day of Death. So I cannot learn that, if I'm not open-minded to actually be interested about it.
Yeah. What have been some of the challenges that you've experienced on your trip?
I would say maybe the routine, to find the routine and to find like the way of living.
Yeah.
That's because I mean, at home you can open the tap and water flows. You can go to the toilet, flush, done. And you can turn on your stove, there is electricity, and you have to think about these things here. I mean, not that is ultimately complicated, but you have to do it, and you have to do it in every country. This is maybe the biggest challenge, I would say. I mean, yeah, when we have with the YouTube videos that we're doing, we have a lot of things to do, so it never gets boring or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also, like, we used to have, a big apartment, and then from that big apartment, what do we have here? 2 meters?
Yeah.
So you
6
have to
square meters.
reduce, everything to, you have only 2 spoons, you have only 2 forks. So you cannot just leave your dishes overnight you have to clean everything. You have to put everything back into the place because you don't have the space to be, not organized. So
Yeah.
that, I think, at the beginning was also a bit of challenge to figure it out how we do it, because it's different if we go on vacation for 2 to 3 weeks or if you leave full time in the car, because you need stuff that you would normally not need on a 2 to 3 weeks vacation. That for me was at the beginning a bit challenging. Yeah, the routine. Before we left, we were like, oh my God, we are going to have so much time. I can do sports every day. I'm going to walk every day 10,000 steps. Yeah, that's not happening. Like, you drive and then you drive the whole day, and then you come up in you have to search for a camp spot, which takes a lot longer than you thought. And then it's already dark and you're hungry, and we have to walk nacho, and you have to be careful, depending where you are. There are bears or wolves or whatever. Like, okay, yeah, so let's go to bed. And you haven't done your 10,000 steps, or you haven't done any sports, you haven't done anything what you wanted to do. So yeah, I think that was a bit, also realizing that you don't have that much time as you thought you have, because everything takes place. Filling up water needs a lot of time, Filling up propane needs a lot of time. Sometimes you go to fill up water, they don't have the hose you need. You have to drive 10 kilometers further. But yeah, I think those are a bit the challenges.
And it's changing. Each country is different.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, find a routine is maybe
the biggest one.
Yeah. That makes sense. What has been the most meaningful moment so far?
I think for me personally I think it would be two for me personally. One, when the morning we stood in our empty apartment, preparing ourselves to give away the keys, and we realized this is it, going. And the second one was when we stood at the Arctic Ocean sign. I remember a few years ago, we were watching a video of another Swiss couple. They did what we are doing now, and they just arrived at the Arctic Ocean. And I was looking at Christian, and we were both like, how must it feel, to be there, like, with everything you own, and you are there where the road literally ends into the ocean. And you get to live it, you get to see it. I mean, how many people have that chance, to be there and to experience that? And yeah, then we were there, and it was like, okay, remember that moment? Yeah, we are here now. So it was quite big for me.
Yeah, I would say the moment where we stood in front of the sign, and this was like it's funny because we took almost 4 months to go from the start to the official start of our journey. It's funny when you think about that.
You touched on it before, but you said you work on YouTube videos and Instagram and things like that. Do you find any pressure from social media as you're traveling?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, at some point so we do YouTube because I want to learn how to do documentary style travel videos in a cinematic style. Okay. So, and then we started with this, and we said, yeah, okay, we're going to make a movie from time to time. And then somehow you feel you do a movie, and then you work on the next, and then you see people are reacting on this movie, and your numbers are growing and getting good, and you get like addicted to that also a little bit. And then you do it weekly. And then at some point we do it for us at the end, but you do it also for the people that are watching, and at some point you want to grow, you want to get more viewers, you want to get better numbers and so on. So you get the pressure because you want to have this video out every Saturday at 9, and this is how it started a bit. And now we're doing it every week, and it just becomes a little bit of a routine to do this, and it's part of our journey. And also because if you think about that, you travel, let's say, for 2 years, and you collect all these video feeds and all this stuff, and then you go back home or wherever you are, you don't have time to work on that content again. So
That's
this
true.
is the only chance now to do it.
Yeah.
While the memories are fresh and you still remember, how you felt standing there, or, you're not going to remember how you felt standing at this beach in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. My mother wrote down a journal every day for their travels. Yeah. So she was able to use those entries when she wrote the book that they wrote. Yeah. So yeah, it's the same thing. You're editing as you go along, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How do you think exploration has changed you? If you think back to that couple you met in Norway, they changed your lives there, and then
I think for me, it goes a bit even deeper because I don't trust people very easily. So I'm a bit, when I meet new people, I have my walls in front of me. And when we started this trip, we started to get requests. I mean, messages from people. Oh, if you come to Quebec, come visit us. And you've never met those people. So the first time we got that invitation, we were like, okay. Should we go? Should we not go? I don't know. Are they going to murder us? I don't know. And then we decided to go. And it was amazing because, we were just like, we go and we are going to have a coffee together and then we are going to drive away. Well, we ended up cooking with them dinner. We stayed at their place. We could shower. We could do our laundry. And we've never met those people. And that was the first experience to me, like, okay. And then we met another couple in Tuktoyaktuk, and they were like, well, if you come to that place, come stay with us. And we ended up staying with them for 5 days. We were like a part of the family. We met all the family, so we cooked together, we baked cakes. And I think those little, encountering with people showed me that people are actually good. I can open myself up to trusting people and, meeting new people and staying with people which we've never met before. And we have now all these amazing people who we are still in contact with, and they help us if we need help. And, it's really amazing. So I'm very proud of myself, from being able to destroy those walls and embracing that.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, for me, it's a bit. Before I had a good job and I had some responsibility about 15 employees, and I had to take care of everything. I had to control everything, or not control in this mind, but I have to take responsibility of all this stuff, and this is now a bit different, and you see a lot of things that are happening more relaxed. So if we have to do some errands like filling up water and all this stuff, it takes one day. You cannot just do this in 1 hour. And to see this more relaxed, to just do it. And we are done when we're done. And sometimes we don't know what we're doing tomorrow. We decide in the morning if we're going to stay or we leave. And this flexible mind, see what happens tomorrow, and according to that we are gonna react on this and see what we're doing, and don't have the precise plan. Okay, tomorrow we are there, the day after we are there, at this time we have to take the ferry and all this stuff. It's just we do it when we're ready, and that's good.
That's cool. That's really cool. So breaking down walls and becoming more flexible.
Yeah.
I guess, what is the number one lesson that you've learned from your exploration?
I think for me it's that, like before, like we had both our jobs, and I used to like nice things, and I used to, I don't know, have 120 pairs of shoes, but I have to say now, I realize that I don't need 120 pairs of shoes to be happy, because me being here at this beach with 2 pairs of shoes, I'm as happy as I've ever been in my life. So, like that quote goes, the best things in life aren't things. I think that for me has become very, very true, because we always have the same stuff on us. Like the number of clothes we have with us is limited, and you wash them and you wear them again. And it's the same with shoes. And I don't have the feeling that I'm missing anything. And I'm happy, like living with less has made me more happy than I've ever been in my life. So that for me is, the number one learning so far. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's like enjoy the moment that you're in. Now we are with you, and nothing else matters. It doesn't matter. I don't have to check the YouTube. I don't have to think about what we're doing afterwards or something like this. It's just a moment that you're in. If you meet somebody and they say, okay, you can come to us, and why not? Okay, we go to them, and we don't have you don't have to think about, okay, no, at 6 I have to go to eat dinner or something like this. It's just enjoy the moment and take it to you, and live the now, not think about the future or what comes next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So you have Nacho with you. What is it like traveling with a dog? And like, I'm curious too, because we have a dog. How do you travel across borders, and what's involved in taking a dog with you on a trip like that?
So Across the borders, I think Canada and America was very easy because we come from Europe. I think if you come from Europe, it's very easy. You have a passport, you have all the stamps, the vaccinations, the dogs have a microchip. So that's very easy. I think it's way different if you come from somewhere else like Africa or South America where they don't have that. Flying Nacho to Canada was very hard, like especially for us, because you have to give your dog away and they take him away and he's in a crate. He doesn't know what's happening to him and he was very stressed. We were very stressed. But I think we wouldn't have done it without him because he's part of our family. And we know a lot of people who have just gave up their dogs because, the dog becomes an inconvenience when you want to travel. Well, he's part of our family, so we have to take him with us. To Canada, it was very easy. The States, as I said, the same. Mexico, nobody cared about Nacho. Yeah, I think it's going to get a bit more complicated when we go down because you need a lot of health certificates and you have to import the dog and export the dog, and there are a lot of requirements which change all the time. So yeah, but there are a lot of like WhatsApp groups where people keep each other informed. Okay, that change at that border and you can do that there. So I think there's a lot of information there and people are very helpful.
Yeah.
Other than that, traveling with a dog, I mean, for us, it's good because he's very he lets us know when somebody is near the car or there is something happening. I mean, we decided to adopt him from Romania. Here he is.
Yeah, like you said, he's part of your family, so you just have to figure out all the different things.
Yes, and I mean, I don't think I think sometimes he makes us calm down and makes us, stay somewhere. And I think that's actually a very good thing because if not, you would be like, oh yeah, let's go there, let's go there. And yeah, and I think that's good. And some people are like, oh, but you cannot go there and you cannot go there because you can't take a dog in national parks, for example. I mean, there are so many other places which you can take your dog to, and they are just as beautiful, if not even more beautiful. I don't have a feeling that we are missing out on anything by having him with us. So yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah. When you're back at home, and maybe home at the moment is where you are right now, but when you're back in Switzerland or Romania, how do you encourage yourself to explore locally?
I would say, I mean, what do you mean exactly by encouraging?
I guess when we're at home, sometimes it's hard to just explore the local park or things like that. Sometimes I feel like exploration means you have to go really far. But when you're home, how do you or maybe this trip has changed your mindset that you need to go visit places close to home as well?
Yeah, I think that definitely changed our mind because like Christian is Swiss and he hasn't seen the Matterhorn. Imagine that.
1 million Chinese people or people from all over the world have seen the Matterhorn, but I didn't. I mean, I lived there for 39 years, so I would have the time to do that, but
yeah. I think we always think that the grass is greener on the other side, so we always want to go and see some other places, like yeah, it's the same with Romania. Like I lived there for 19 years, and oh, sorry.
Oh.
It's okay, Nacho. It's okay. Hey, Nacho. It's okay. It's okay.
Hey,
Nacho. It's okay.
Okay.
Alles gut. Alles gut. You want to know?
It's our secure system.
Yeah, you don't need an alarm.
No, we definitely don't need it.
Yeah.
You just have to close something at the window so he doesn't see people anymore. Yeah, that's the beauty with traveling with a dog.
Yeah. What type of dog is he? Is he
He's
a mixture?
a street dog. Yeah, he's a mix. But we think that we did a DNA. So his grandfather was a German Shepherd, so he looks a bit like a German Shepherd puppy.
Yeah.
But all the dogs in him are like working dogs, so we notice that a lot.
Yeah, a lot of energy or need a lot of exercise and.
He's very protective. Like he always wants to see what's around us, and nobody can approach us without him saying that's far enough. That's okay. Yeah,
that's good.
You do good. Yeah. Do you want to do the question again, or?
No, I think we got it. So that's good. I have two more questions. The Explore More has a mantra, which is explore more of the world, engage with others, and embrace global cultures. When you hear that, what do those words mean to you?
It's actually exactly what we're doing. I mean, we want to see more. As I said, we want to see what's behind the next tree or behind the next hill, or so just see more. Also, not only more about landscapes, but also about cultures and how how others are living and to see different perspectives of the world also. I mean, for example, we were in the States and they talk about Mexico, and now we are in Mexico, they talk about the States, just to see these different perspectives of a lot of things, not only like these two countries, but of the world also, to see different perspectives of the world. And that's maybe exactly what we're doing, I would say.
Yeah, and also like
Matches 100% down.
Try, like when we say culture, also like take a dive into the culinary, part of the country, because Mexico has a very, I think one of the best kitchens in the world. And I'm vegan, so I cannot eat everything here, but still we try to, I ask locals when I see a vegetable which I don't know, I ask them, okay, how can I cook this? And they tell me, how to cook, and then we try it. And for me, this is also like embracing something new, like won't just be, I don't know that, I'm not eating that. So we try to do also that, and like learn the history and, learn traditions and respect actually those traditions, because we cannot just say, well, yeah, that sucks because it's, it's like that and I don't agree to that. Well, there is a story why maybe that thing is like that, and you have to be open-minded about it to understand it. Why are people like this, Why do they do that? Why do they act like that? Why, their story is like that? And I think you have to be very open-minded, and I think that your mantra is, for me, it's exactly that, like be open-minded for other cultures, other environment, and other people.
Perfect. What advice would you give to anyone who's thinking about doing this type of travel?
Be sure what you want, and I would say just do it now. Don't wait too long. I mean, of course, it needs some financial safety in the background and all this stuff. It's not everybody can just do it. We had also to save a lot of money to do this now. But at the end, just find, if you really want to do it, just find a solution how to do it and start now. Don't wait too long. I mean, our initial plan to do this was we wait until we're 60 and then we are early retired, and then we go, and then we decided, no, we cannot wait, because first, we don't know if we still live. We don't know if we still want to do this because we're maybe too comfortable or whatever. So we said, okay, we can handle the financial situation and we do it now. It was also a little bit hard to get rid of it was also a bit hard to change the situation with our jobs, because I had a very nice job and a very important job for me. But to just say, okay, now that's the moment to quit it, and I can do it again afterwards if I want, but just do it now. Don't wait too long.
Yeah, I agree to that. I think life is way too short for someday I will do that, because you don't know if someday is going to come at all. So yeah. And yeah, like Christian said, you can't just, leave everything if you don't have the financial background, but you don't have to go on a journey for, 4 or 5 years, you can do it also, I don't know, if you want to see a country, just be open to it and go there.
And like you did your initial trips, you went and did a taster of what it was like to try it out. Cool. Well, we have come to the end of the show, so thank you very much for sharing your story and your perspective. How can people follow your adventures continue? What's your YouTube and Instagram?
So YouTube is it's just Flurry Adventures, and as we said, we are doing weekly videos on Saturday. It's maybe not always the ultimate action or whatever. It's more sometimes also a little bit more about culture or history, because we want to do something with more information in the background, not just the adventure itself, but also something about the place or something that we learned about this place. So YouTube is one. Then we have also Instagram,
which is also Flurry Adventures.
Yes, and we started now also with Patreon. So if somebody wants to support us, they can do it on Patreon, and we are really happy that we already have some people there, and this is something that we didn't expect. I mean, something very new, that we get support from somebody that we don't know.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Nice feeling.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Andreea and Christian and Nacho, for joining, and I will leave you to that beautiful view of the ocean in front of you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk to you and to meet you.
It was very nice meeting you.
You too. All right. Thank you.
Bye, Charles.
Bye.
Hey, thank you so much for watching the show. If you want to share feedback, please hit the comments below. or head over to exploremore.com/feedback for more information. If you want to see more interviews and other content, then please hit the subscribe button. Cheers.